Hey everyone, it's Navik here, and we're back with another review of Hyde Street. This is issue 2, and this one focuses, as you can tell by the cover, on Pranky, the world's most dangerous Boy Scout. And in particular, one thing we actually learn about Pranky is that before he became a demon, one of the residents of Hyde Street, he had kind of a crappy life as he lived as Pip Peabody. And I'll say this: it was really sad what happened to this kid, for being constantly teased by all the scouts for not being able to do stuff like tying a rope, being abused by his horrible father, and being told to just suck it up and that it was his fault that his father hit him to his teacher dismissing his concern about them dissecting live pigs like baby pigs in class. It's definitely a reason for why Pranky he became a horrific monster, but definitely not an excuse. He's still an evil piece of shit. But definitely a fun one to read about. And one thing I will say, hey, that really helps with this issue is the narration by Mr. X. It basically does give the appeal of a horror host just slowly narrating about his life. I've liked this, like for one example, step up right to Hyde Street, where you'll find Pip Peabody Frankie among its nefarious citizens. And talking about how Pranky found himself in a prison of his own making, though of course the boy doesn't see it that way. And in the present day, we see Pranky at a diner called Bud's, and an officer walks in. And this particular one is Officer Hank Downs. And it's with him that the main sequence of this comic begins. And this main sequence really does show Jeff Johns does have an understanding of build-up and suspense, especially in the style of Tales from the Crypt and other horror anthologies that this book seems to be drawing inspiration from. This issue is really greatly paced, showing a horrific revelation and fed slowly. For example, at the diner, we kind of, and based on his interactions with Pranky, we learn that Officer Downs kind of sees himself, as the maker of rules and how people need to respect him. But then we see that Pranky has the ability to, make people see ghosts, or in particular, the ghost of their sins. And we see that Officer Downs crashed into a woman who was pregnant. And we learn that Officer Downs is actually a serial killer, the South Haven Strangler, and he did not hit the pregnant woman, and kill her by accident. And she was one of his victims that got away, and he was just finishing the job. And he tries to kill Pranky, though Pranky, being an immortal old demon child, basically told the cops about him, so that kind of left Officer Downs with only one option: surrender to himself, confess, as in face the victims, the family and friends of all of his victims, or kill himself, either by Frankie tying him in a knot, showing that, hey, he did learn how to finally tie a knot. That's in the most messed up way possible. But Officer Downs decides to just shoot himself. Because, he is. One thing we learn is that he's not only a serial killer, he's also kind of a coward. And after that bit of messed up comeuppance, Pranky's actually dragged to the scorekeeper, and we actually do see a glimpse of him, and in particular, or how his domain actually is black and white. It's not just artistic choice; it literally drains most of the color, or from the residents who come there. And we learn that there's kind of a rule of Hyde Street. Basically, if you could deliver 10,000 souls to the scorekeeper, you could choose to leave Hyde Street. And we learn that Pranky has done more than that, but he doesn't want to leave. He just wants to keep punishing crappy adults and serial killers. There's, and of course, taking joy in the misery. But the scorekeeper basically is having none of that, because there's a system of balances, an ecosystem of order in Hyde Street, and Pranky's recklessness and murder-happy craze is going to ruin that. So, as the issue ends, the scorekeeper basically orders Pranky to get along with Mr. X-Ray, because it's Christmas time, after all, the time of forgiveness and goodwill. Unless, of course, you're a resident of Hyde Street, but we'll have to see what jolly mayhem comes in the next issue. So Hyde Street issue 2 continues the streak of being a great horror ongoing series. He said issue 1 set up, and of course, with the Devourer one-shots, we're obviously see that this universe is ripe for potential spin-offs and just learning more about the individual monsters that reside in the street. And of course, Ivan Reyes' art brings it to life in horrifying detail. I'm giving this issue a 5 out of 5. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.